Hello YouTube, Liverpool fan in Japan here, the Miyazaki man Sai. I'm proper bunged up, completely under the weather. Can you hear my smooth husky voice? However, I think everyone needs to pick me up after yesterday's result. 2-2 draw away at Old Trafford. Usually ain't the end of the world, but I can understand the manner of how that result came about, that some people are pretty much down. But here we go, I'm going to give you a pick me up for the start of the week so you guys can enjoy the match against Atalanta coming on Thursday. So, traditionally, as I mentioned, 2-2 at Old Trafford isn't a terrible result. In the context of things, we dominated Man United. We proved how much of a bad, horrendously set up team they are. Ten Hag is hanging on by an absolute shoestring. Speaking of hanging on, there was a major earthquake today in Miyazaki. Hanging on, things are shaking. Ooh, wobbly. Pray for my health. Pray for health for everyone in and around Japan. Don't want you guys to like this video as well. Really helps me beat the algorithm. Scary stuff. Look what popped up on my phone. But yeah. And the main reason they're not going to replace him is the lack of credible managers to go in the hot seat. Who wants to go there? It's not going to be an Amorim. It's not going to be a Xabi Alonso. Hansi Flick saw what happened previously to Ralph Rangnick. Mourinho back in there. Tuchel needs a job. Nagelsmann. Who knows? It's Gareth Southgate, baby, all the way. Ka-ching. 14 million for Ten Hag and his team out the door. Anyway, we dominated Man United 3 times this season and we did not come away with a single win because sometimes when you're up against a huge rival, they just have your number in terms of getting the result. We do not have the pure finisher, Diogo, Jota, the Slotter, in our lineup to make that clinical difference. Because Liverpool as a team traditionally have been very attacking, very attack-oriented under Jurgen Klopp. We create the chances, we have those patterns of play, but Salah has always been wasteful. He's never been the most clinical. His shot is not the best, it's not the hardest. He's not the most accurate. He's hesitant to use his right foot. He fluffs his lines, his touch has been inconsistent, but that is Mo Salah and he always gets in the right position to score. And our Liverpool team under Jurgen Klopp always creates the chances. In fact, in world football, we are the highest goal scoring club in the top tier of football. And that's not by chance, but it's not because we're clinical. We make those chances, but the quality of shot is a little bit questionable. So many times we lose that phase of play because the ball balloons over the bar or goes wide. Sometimes you just have to hit the target with a bit more power, a bit more verve, so the ball stays in place. Sure, Onana could save it. Sure, it could bounce out and deflect the defender. Whatever. As long as the ball's in play, you can carry on that phase of attack and the opposition aren't gifted the ball in the form of a goal kick. We need to practice more on getting those shots on targets. And speaking of shots on targets, Szoboszlai penetrates the press excellently. He manages to get the ball in position, but his touch to set himself up with the shot has let him down again and again. And when he has a chance to really unleash with a shot, sometimes he hesitates and he goes for the simple ball, that little ball out to Bradley, that little reverse ball. I'd like to see him get that uber confidence in him to set himself up with a touch, to just touch and shoot. He's got the technique. He doesn't need much backlift to get his shot away, and the team needs to set him up better as well. But really, he needs to have more confidence to back himself to do the long range shots, because I think there is some joy there, especially the type that swerves in the air, that dips before the keeper, might rebound, and then you Salah or Diaz slide in, Nunes slide in to get the goal. We need more of that. God, I'm dying. Anyway, I do really like Szoboszlai getting to the box and head up and drilling the ball across low and hard to picking the player out on the opposite side of the box, because that's actually the biggest threat. When Liverpool overload one side, especially down the right hand side, the biggest goal threat is on the left hand side. And if you can pick out your Nunes, if you can pick out your McAllister, if you can pick out your Lucho Diaz, it gives them an open shot to shoot. And somehow they're just not hitting the corners, hitting the right target. The ball stayed across the paces on the ball, guide it with the instep into that far corner. It is a very, very good ploy, a very, very good attack. But I'd like to see Szoboszlai start to dominate games, because it's always McAllister who's pulling the strings at the moment. And Szoboszlai has this ability. He's a talisman for that Hungary national team, and he did it on occasion for Leipzig as well. I want to see him step it up and start to do it more for Liverpool, because at the moment he's just that third midfielder. He's not the breaker, the destroyer, the end of days, the biggie Endo. He's not the mercurial playmaker, the silky McAllister, roaming around, getting his foot on the ball and always being gifted the ball. He's that third midfielder at the moment, and I'd like to see him create that spot for him, whereas he is a necessary penetrator from midfield, what Ox used to do in Ox's prime in Liverpool days. Now, Ox was actually a really beastly player that was really tactically hard to stop and oppose because of his pace, his power, physicality, and his shooting ability. Now, that injury really screwed him over, but you saw how much of an impact he made against those 2 Man City games, right? The daisy cutter, the scorcher. Fantastic. Love me some prime Ox. Oxtail's really nice as well in soup. I need some oxtail. My chest is burning. As I said, now is really not a time to fear. There's so many games coming up, right? The race really starts now, and here's why the race starts now, okay? It's always felt slightly uncomfortable. Liverpool ahead on goal difference, Liverpool ahead on 1 point. Traditionally, as long as I've supported Liverpool, we've never really been the front runners who just go away with it and run off, into the sunset with a points lead, indestructible, undefeated. It's always on a knife edge. It could go either way. That Lucho Diaz equaliser against Luton, and McAllister set up for Nunes to chop down Nottingham Forest, all that kind of stuff. Sure, we can look back at the Spurs result and red cards and PGMOL and all that kind of thing, but it can happen the other way as well. If these events are variables that can occur in football, and football is a team sport, which means every single player has got to be on it, right? It could be a divot of the ball, a bobble, even a beach ball on a pitch. Unfortunately, that happened to Liverpool. Anything. Injuries to key players. What if Gabriel or Saliba both get injured, right? What if De Bruyne gets injured? What if Haaland gets injured? What if Foden gets injured? What if one of them gets a red card, a reckless tackle? What if there's a wonder goal from a player? Think in context. Crystal Palace went 1-up against Manchester City. They should have been 2-up. They should have had a penalty. They should have slid it for tapping it across as well. There's so many things that could have gone your way to really, really give yourself the opportunity to get back into the title race. This is a race. If you are so confident, think about it, right? Liverpool, if they win every game, they would have won the league. So easy to say. Now, if Arsenal win every game, they would win the league as well. And everyone's like, oh, the race is over. Arsenal are ahead. The defence is solid. If you're so confident, check the odds. Do an accumulator and get the odds for an Arsenal 100% win streak till the end of the season. Every single game, and put 100 quid on it. You'll be a laughing rich man. Surely you think that Liverpool couldn't go on a 100% win streak, and Arsenal will do because the title race is over. So if you put that, you're going to get some money either way, right? If Liverpool come back and win, fantastic. That's what we want. If Arsenal win it, you gain some money. If Man City are still the favourites, win it, well, put money on them to go on a 100% win streak every single game. Why not? There you go. Money either way. I'm sure even if you backed both Arsenal and City to win 100% of the games, one on each line, you'll come quids in as well. And the alternative is our own very club, Liverpool, winning it. So I do not believe that everyone will go on a win streak. And the main reasoning behind this is there's so many crucial fixtures left to play. This is the tail end of the season where players are running on adrenaline and passion, and in your mind you don't want to slip up, you don't want to let the opposition back in. But when you're chasing, Liverpool are best as underdogs chasing. When you're 3-0 against Milan, coming back to Anfield, right, anything can happen. You play with the shackles off, you play with freedom, you've got something to chase. You do your absolute best. If you're going to lose, you lose in a glorious way, but you can't slip up, you can't throw it away, you can't let someone overtake you. If you can't do it at the end of the day, then it is what it is. You've tried your best, right? But when you're on top, it's a different mentality. And I've heard one of the pundits say this as well. Really trying to fend off the chasing pack is very, very difficult. And there's also something to be said about playing first and earning a win. Puts more pressure on you as the opposition to maintain your leg in that race. It's the same as penalty shootouts, right? When the first goal goes in and a sudden death, coming second and having to score, otherwise you're knocked out without the contingency of your keeper bailing you out. It is a different psychological effect. And people keep saying Man City have done it again and again. They've done it 3 years, 4 years or whatever. Liverpool have done it as well. Liverpool won the Premier League. Arteta has not yet won the Premier League. When push comes to shove, when you're making a crucial decision, Champions League, if Arsenal face Manchester City over 2 legs, they will go hell for leather to battle each other, because whoever wins that will be favourite for the final. And Pep, having won the Champions League already, has that voodoo, that jinx over his head off. But Arteta has not won the Champions League, and he's not won the Premier League either. All he's won is a single cup. So there's going to be huge pressure on Arteta's shoulders. So being the wise dog, Guardiola is rightfully favourite with a 40% odds to Liverpool's 30% odds. But 30% odds in a free title race, in a three-legged title race, that's fantastic odds. And look at the fixtures coming up, right? Man United are always a bogey team. You think back to the Liverpool years of Gerard Houllier, Danny Spud Murphy, Vladimir Smica, Anthony Latelek, Pongo, Neil Mellor, all these players, right? McManaman, Redknapp. It doesn't matter how much of a superior team they are, because Liverpool were vastly inferior to those Man United teams, the great teams. We got results against them. We got draws, we got wins, especially Danny Murphy, twice on the bounce. I remember shooting and scoring to get the win for us against that team, and they still went on to win, because at the end of the day, their rivalry exists for a reason, and they are the great rivals, because really that match means a lot more. And it's just unfortunate we couldn't get the points, but we absolutely bossed them on the pitch. And no one better criticise Jarrell Quansah, because any given player on any given day can make a mistake, but how much he came back into the game, switched his focus on mentality, where there's a divot, where there's a lack of attention. Who knows? But who actually cares? Because we should have scored more goals before that. Then it wouldn't have been on Quansah's shoulders. And we still had opportunity and time to score goals afterwards, right? Nothing you can do about the Kobe Mainu wonder goal. Top corner, great kid, great talent as well. He looks a great footballer. And that kid at the back, Cambuala, as well. You know, we played him into confidence, because we really should have been right at them, him and Maguire, but we didn't really go for the throat. In fact, sometimes it just doesn't go your way, right? Manchester United kept giving us the ball Again and again, Bruno Fernandes, the most frustrating player on the pitch, losing the ball over and over, playing over-ambitious balls that his teammates would never get, them chasing shadows, their press being non-existent, running in ones and twos, getting bypassed in the midfield. We were creating options left, right and centre. But that Quansah goal gave them the confidence to get back into the game, and obviously Manu made it 2-1, which in perspective, we dug out a result because at Old Trafford against the opposition, with their heads up and the fans behind them, we clawed it back to 2-2, thanks to Harvey Elliott, because his composure, his vision, his football brain is absolutely top-notch. And I do want to give credit to Harvey Elliott, because I think he's been one of the outstanding Liverpool members since the start of the season. Never complains, deserves his place in the first 11, deserves his place on the bench, deserves his place as an impact player. No matter what position he is on the pitch or where he comes on the field, he gives 110%, great attitude, and really always tries to make things happen. He never plays it safe. He really takes the responsibility on his shoulders to switch the play, to play the through ball, to take the shot, to try to make something happen. I love Harvey Elliott as a person and as a player as well. But just a word back onto Jota Quansah, right? So the mentality of the kid to get through the game, and obviously Van Dijk arm over the shoulder shepherding him through the game as well, shows that he can be a high quality player because he's got the mental fortitude for it, right? The players, you think of the great players, you know, John Terry, Carvalho, Ferdinand, Sol Campbell, Baresi, Nesta, Costa Curta, Bobby Moore, Ruud Krol, Jeffinko Facchetti, all these kind of fantastic defenders, Roberto Ayala, even the Liverpool ones, Alan Hansen and Mark Lawrence and Phil Thompson, all the greats, Phil Neal. They back themselves. They have the temperament. Even when the going gets tough, in the same moment, in the exact same situation, 100 times out of 100, they'll do the exact same thing, even if it led to a mistake before, because that's what you thought was the best option at that time. That follows the manager's tactics, that follows your instincts and your intuition, and that's what you would do as that kind of player. I feel Jota Quansah falls into that category, because even though that mistake was horrendous and gave Man United impetus and momentum to get back in the match, he played out the rest of the match to a pretty decent standard, right? And all it took was a mistake, a wonder goal from Fernandes, and a wonder goal from Manu, you know, to get their legs up. But we still showed the fortitude to come back and earn a point from a losing position at Old Trafford. So at the end of the day, that was our biggest banana skin, and now that is crossed off the list. We do not play Man United, we do not play Arsenal, we do not play Manchester City again. And with our fixtures coming up, those players can still have an impact. I'm talking about the opposition players. I don't think an Everton will roll over or Man United will roll over, especially not Man United, because Ten Hag is in a precarious situation right now and they can't afford to roll over. They need to scrap for every single point because they're not in the Champions League place, and if Champions League goes to the 5th place team and Man United still don't get it because Tottenham and Villa are in those positions, that puts huge pressure on him. So he will fight for everything at the end of the season. Even Everton, if they're just barely safe, they will fight for professional pride as well. Sean Dyche is not the type to roll over. Who would roll over in the Sean Dyche team? It just doesn't happen, you know. He's got a bit about him. He's a lad, a proper lad. So the league is definitely not finished, and even though we create a lot of chances, and that's a good thing, right? You want to create those chances. It is frustrating because just Salah is not on his goal scoring form. He just has not had that. He definitely doesn't have the mojo since he's come back from injury. He's a little bit jaded, burnt out, but he's still trying, running, getting to the same positions, getting the same positions. But I want to see him angrier. I want to see an angry Salah because he just smiles. He knows the next chance is coming. He smiles, next chance is coming. Darwin Núñez, but I want to see him aggressive, bundling right into the opposition. He's actually very technical, Núñez, but he's trying his hardest, trying his best, but we're not giving him the service to slot him into the right positions. I'm finding that a lot of players are taking the easy ball out wide and then coming in and rotating rather than trying to beat the press, turning on the press, giving the player who's being pressed under pressure the ball to try to make things happen. Really, I want to see some players take key responsibility. Endo tries to turn out. It didn't always work, but he's trying to make something happen. McAllister always tries to get his foot on the ball, make something happen. Harvey Elliott tries to make something happen. Curtis Jones looked a little bit off the pace, to be honest. Cody Gakpo actually tried to make things happen. He needs to learn to release the ball earlier because he beats the first man, beats the second man. He needs to get the head up and release the ball, then off we go, right? Because he's actually a strong runner with the ball when he gets going. We need Lucho Diaz to get his shooting boots on, but Lucho Diaz has always been a mercurial talent who will hit a wonder goal and then miss the next three and scuff next week, but he always gets in the right position, but he just needs to find that clinical nature, the type of finish to slot it away. How long has it been since we've had the Aldridge, the Robbie Fowler, right? You're not talking to Fernando Torres, Luis Suarez, because they're more technical and they've got different kind of all-around game, but they're not the ones that you bank on to just put the ball in the net and talk later. You're talking your Robbie Fowler, your Aldridge, your Ian Rush, your Kevin Keegan, etc. Right? And even on the Man United side, you had your Javier Hernandez, your Chicharito, your Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, your Ruud van Nistelrooy, who all they cared about, your Inzaghi at Milan, all these players who all they cared about was getting the ball in the back of the net and talking later. It doesn't matter how scruffy, how crap the finish, what a tap-in merchant, playing offside, etc. It's just about getting the ball in the net and getting that goal under your belt on the scoreline so you can reshape and reorganize and play again. And I know a lot of people are saying if we had Diogo Jota, if we only had Diogo Jota for these big fixtures, right? Diogo Jota is our best finisher. Left foot, right foot. He can get the ball in the net. He is clinical. He's a poacher. He's an all-around talent. But there are games as well that Diogo Jota is marginalised. He just can't get into the goal-scoring opportunities. He's not in the game at all. The ball is not sticking to him like glue. They've snuffed him out of the game. So you can't go back in the butterfly effect because once again, for example, when Michael Owen left Liverpool, they're like, aha, if you stayed, you missed out on the Champions League with Liverpool. But once again, even he said himself, how do you know Liverpool would have won the Champions League if he was in it? They would have played a completely different way. In the same way that all our games with Lucho Diaz, Nunez, Salah, Gakpo, even Elliott on the right-hand side, who knows what would have happened if Jota there? Maybe we would have lost some additional games. Maybe we would have drawn some games. These boys got us into this position. They got us into the second place position on goal difference coming into the final hurdle. If you took that at the start of the season with a complete brand new midfield, Haaland scoring everything, Man City, taking a treble at the end of last season, Arsenal solidifying, buying Declan Rice, buying big name players. We got Wataru Endo, obviously Biggie, we know how good he is now, but we missed out on Caicedo, missed out on Lavia, missed out on all options. Ugarte went to PSG, we didn't get Kefren Turan, for example, right? George Schmadtke, what was he doing? Just came here for vacation. But no, what a good man, George Schmadtke. 4 quality signings right there, right? If you would have told at the start of the season, would you take a second place on goal difference right now going into the final stretch where Tottenham have a huge say because Tottenham play all 3 teams and Tottenham can beat anybody on the day, including Liverpool. Tottenham are Man City's bogey team and Tottenham will not let Arsenal go easy as well. And Postecoglou, this is a guy who can get smashed 5-0, but he can beat the opposition 5-0 too. I'm loving to see it. There's so much football left to be played in the season. This is where the real title race begins. The games come thick and fast. I'm so excited, no matter how late in the night it is for me in Japan, to watch Liverpool play, whether it's a 3 a.m. kickoff, whether it's a 12 a.m. kickoff, whether it's an 11 p.m. kickoff. Please be an early kickoff. I need the sleep. Really excited to watch because we're such a good team. And if you said at the start as well, we're here without Thiago for the whole season, without Bajcetic for the whole season, Matip ruled out for the whole season, relying on Jarrell Quansah, relying on Conor Bradley because Trent's been injured, having no left back, Robbo and Tsimikas has been injured, Van Dijk's been out for spells, Alisson Becker's been out, and Cuiva's played more games than Alisson Becker this season. Jota's been out sporadically as well. All these kind of things. Salah was out as well. In fact, when Salah was out, we overcame the adversity and we kept winning, getting the points on board, whether it was Szoboszlai out there, or Elliott out there, or Gakpo out there, or Lucho Diaz switching out there. We plugged away and got the points. So we're not a one-man team. We are a complete machine as a team, and we create those opportunities, and they've got that feel-good factor, the family factor, and it is something that I think really puts us in good stead, this mentality monster attribute. Even though we should have been out of sight against Man United, the fact is we were 2-1 down going into the closing stages at Old Trafford with Man United's tails up in the air and Ten Hag screaming from the sidelines and players loving it, absolutely loving it, right? It took a Rashford injury to get him off, and that's when they took over and scored their goals. Not a Ten Hag masterclass, not intentional by any means, but we were down there and we came back because of Javier Elliott's endeavour. And how many of you were shaking and absolutely shatting yourself because Salah took the ball off McAllister giving a little pat on the arse and said, go on son, Egyptian King Slaughter's ahead, right? I'm sure a lot of you wanted McAllister to score the goal and would have been fearing for Mo to miss it, but Mo, a big game player, stepped up, backed himself, got the goal, 2-2, and we were closest to winning it, obviously with a free kick right at the end and other chances as well. I love this Liverpool team. This Liverpool team is amazing. I really am a fan of so many players, what they're trying to do, the way Jurgen Klopp plays as well. It's a glorious final chapter of his season. He's already won 1 cup. We're favourites for the Europa League. We've got Atalanta coming up. This is a fun time. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you please drop a like and comment to let me know what you think in the comments below. I did my absolute best. I'm barely conscious right now. My balance is like wheezy and wobbly. It's a bit of that's the Sturridge dance, right? It must have been because he's completely off balance, off kilter. He must have had a cold or chest infection or whatever. That's how he came up with the dance, right? Little Alberto Moreno doing the dance as well, you know, with Coutinho, those lads. Firmino, they got together, really fun. Mane imitating Firmino's celebrations. Love our club, man. It's so good. No bad word or flame on Gakpo, on Jarrell Quansah, on any of our lads. We're Liverpool FC. This means more. Back them till the very end. Let's see where we end up. So much football yet to be played. I guarantee you, every team does not have a good shot of winning every game to the end of the season. A draw will always sneak in there. People are fighting for their lives. This is a profession. This is their pride. They're at a very top level. Anything can happen. Red cards, injuries, wonder goals, flukes, adversities. Hand on heart, hopefully no tragedies or personal circumstances, all that kind of stuff. But so much stuff can happen in life. And this is a team, 11 players against 11 players on the pitch. I love our 11 players. Let's see what they can do. Domo arigato minasan. Subscribe if you haven't already. Miyazaki Mani Chiban. Till next time, keep healthy, stay safe. Enjoy it. Peace.